and recently they found a ranch with hundreds of dead people, essentially shoes and stuff were there. It was like a kill kind of ranch. I believe it was identified that the CJNG was kind of the owners of this ranch. Have you met some of these sicarios that are killing what seem to be innocent people? Do they care, or is it a part of it? Because in that story, they were trying to hire people to work for the cartel, and when they would deny working for them, or they would say they wouldn't work for them, then they'd kill them, and then they do things. There are stories. We had a woman that was able to talk to other people who escaped from there, that they were forced to kill each other's friends if they didn't want to kind of do the work. Again, this is just what was reported.
Okay. So let me clear. Go ahead.
Please.
Sorry.
No, good. Please clarify.
Yeah. So first of all, the CJNG doesn't own any ranches. They don't need to. They go onto a plot of land that they identify, and they'll ask the owner or the caretaker of the land, hey, would you mind if we use this for a couple of weeks to train up some new recruits? And, 9 times out of 10, these people say yes, out of fear. Of course, they're paid. So they don't own any of these ranches, right? All of the clothing that they found in that one particular ranch, I'm not sure if that was like a mass grave, like the media was painting that out to be. What happens is when they bring new recruits to a training site, and we went to Guadalajara, on the outskirts of Guadalajara, to one of these former training sites, and we talked to the caretaker who described the whole process to us. These kids are not forcibly recruited. They are with the guerrillas in Colombia, but not in Mexico. They don't need to. They recruit them on TikTok. So it's just forget about that. They're not kidnapping people and forcing them to fight. It's not true. But once these people agree to come to the training, yes, they are stuck there. And if they try to run away, they're killed. So when they get there, they're stripped of all their clothes, all their electronics, everything. And that's probably the clothing and the shoes that they found at this one particular ranch that made, worldwide news. That's probably what that was. Now, at these training sites, at these ranches, they bring people that they've kidnapped from local towns. These could be thieves, rapists, drug addicts, and they will use them as target practice for the sicarios. That is true. So people are killed there, but the forced recruitment is not really true. A lot of the bodies are dissolved in diesel and acid now because they're really trying to keep a low profile. They don't want bodies being exhumed and making the press. Yep. So that's how a lot of people go, unfortunately. But yes, there's a huge amount of disappearances happening in Guadalajara and in the Jalisco state now. As the homicide rate's been going down, the disappearances have been going up. So that tells you something. So yes, a lot of people go there and never return, but they're not actually forcibly recruited. They don't need to. There's still so much desperation in those, especially those rural areas, that it's quite easy to recruit people of their own volition. You're getting a lot of women that are signing up, a lot of Colombians. Some of them are mercenaries. They're coming up from Colombia because they're the best trained. A lot of them are getting paid quite well by Mexican cartels, Mexican criminal organizations. And a lot of people have just, fled Colombia, and they find themselves now as, foot soldiers for the cartels.
Man, it's interesting. Well, thank you for the clarification on that. Yeah. And that's definitely a different point of view that we haven't heard. There's still things like we did femicide. We did a whole episode about femicide, women disappearing in some areas, for years. There's older stuff as well. But recently, one of the big influencers that was in Mexico was killed by a cartel.
Yeah.
Do you know anything, inside information on that we haven't probably addressed?
No, I was actually in Guadalajara when the woman who was on camera, she was at her beauty salon, and she turned. We literally, the first day we were in Guadalajara, that happened. But, most of the femicide that happens in Mexico is not organized. It's not perpetrated by high-scale organized crime. It's just it's an ugly part of their culture. It happens in Italy, right? Italy has that machismo culture that's very backward. And there's just a lot of angry, poor, overworked, addicted young men, and they end up killing their lovers. Some of them are psychos and they're serial killers. That's what most of the femicide is. Most of the Sinaloa cartel, they don't allow femicide. They will beat you if you're a soldier in the Sinaloa cartel and they find out you slapped your wife or your girlfriend. They'll give you the tabla. They'll make you get on your knees and they'll take a heavy wooden mallet and they'll pull your pants down and they'll smack you on your ass until you're writhing in pain. They don't like that. They don't like that. They don't like drug use, especially not the CJNG. They don't allow it, though. They give you drug testing. So they're not going to allow you to just indiscriminately kill a woman like that. They got business. They got real business to deal with. So,
yeah. Well, let me ask you, like, how about us Americans? We want to go visit. I know people are concerned. They're going to go out there and get hurt. Are they going to get kidnapped? Or are they going to be, extorted for money? Can Americans go down to Mexico right now? What's kind of the conversation between the cartel? I've heard, why would they screw with us? We make them money, right? And some of these,
yeah,
places.
definitely. No,
So
I love
yeah.
Mexico. I love, I don't just go down there to work. Like I love taking vacation down there. Yes, it's very safe. You wouldn't go to a place like Zacatecas. You wouldn't go to a place like Michoacan. Foreigners never go there, so it's inconsequential. Like there is some street crime when you go to like Cancun. Like the outskirts of Cancun are like hot now. There's a lot of criminal groups jockeying for power there, but the locals aren't affected by it. Like you go to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico City. I mean, they're rioting against gentrification in Mexico City because so many foreigners are going there. So the cartels, they have it so buttoned up that they're just too smart for that. I mean, I wouldn't go to a place like Nuevo Laredo on the border, right? Like Americans, every now and then, it's like a shark attack. It never happens, but once in a while it happens, and it's everybody, goes running with fright. But the places that you would go, you're totally fine. You know what I mean? Like
The tourist attractions, the tourist locations.
yeah, and they're making money out of that. Like most of it is money laundering, but when you go to Puerto Vallarta, like they have business in most of the big tourist hotels and resorts and things like that. They own the strip clubs, but there's a lot of smaller groups. There's Russian mafia in Puerto Vallarta.